Hey, you're listening to the Coffee O'Clock podcast, the show that brings you joy and inspiration, with special guests from all around the world who have an amazing story and expertise to evolve your personal and professional life. I am your host, Burcu Onaranel, the founder of Joy Marketing and Coaching. Make sure you grab your coffee and get ready to explore new ideas. Let's get started. Hello everyone, Coffee O'Clock with Joy. We are here with dear Christine Michaelis. I hope I said it right. She is the entrepreneurial communication catalyst. And today we're going to talk about her happiness formula. I know you all are wondering, and I am wondering. So please help me welcome Christine. How are you? Welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very good. I'm enjoying the sunny weather where I am at the moment. The sun, I think, hits everywhere in Europe at the moment. So we're trying to get out as much as we can and enjoy that until it gets rainy again. But I'm very good. Thank you.
Yes, it's important. If you're living in Europe, when the sun is up, you have to be out. You have to enjoy as much as you can. And I learned this for the past 1.5 years living in Hungary. It's very important to catch that sunlight. So it's important.
Exactly.
Christine, you want to share happiness formula, and maybe I want you to share more. What is the happiness formula? But before we get into the formula, who you are, what you do, can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes, of course. So hello, everyone. Thank you for listening to our conversation. So like was said, I'm Christine. I'm originally from Berlin, but I live here, there, and everywhere. At the moment, I reside in the Netherlands. And I am an entrepreneurial communication catalyst. What does that mean? It basically means with my training company, Let's Talk, I support big organizations to spark this entrepreneurial spirit. So like entrepreneurs, but in the organization, through improving internal communication. And I've worked with entrepreneurs for 13 years as well with my Creative Startup Academy, supporting them. So I bring all of that, what I've learned there, into the bigger organizations. And that's more or less what I do.
That is amazing. Every organization needs people like you because internal communication is everything. And most of the case, that's how people drop their work or have arguments and chaos in that world. So it's amazing what you do. And thank you so much for bringing all you know. And I just love your company name. Let's Talk. I just love that name.
Thank you.
It's great. So let's dive into this formula. How did you come up with it? What was the turning point in your life that you started searching for happiness?
I think in general, everyone is searching for happiness in some way or the other. Some people more actively than others, but in the end, everyone wants to be happy. We want to have a happy life. And what does it mean? Well, it means differently for different people. For me, it was triggered, let's say, the more active search and putting something together that came out as a happiness formula in a book and so on, through an event that happened in my life. And that's unfortunately what happens with a lot of people. So to revisit, let's say, life and prioritize your own health and well-being, your own joy, your own happiness, something usually needs to happen that's usually not negative to make radical changes in your life. And for me, that was a misdiagnosis of a brain tumor. So I give you the short story of a long thing that happened so over a period of time. So I have tinnitus in both ears, so that ringing in my ears that I have since I'm 19, so for more than half my life. I've done lots and lots of treatments back then, and 20 years in, I was thinking maybe there's some new things that they can do about this. And I went to an ENT, an ear, nose, throat doctor, and they said, oh, we're just going to scan your head to make sure everything's okay with your ear. And I came 2 weeks later to get the results, and he said, "Oh, good news. You don't have a brain tumor. You don't have anything wrong with your ears, but you have a brain tumor." And I was like, "What?" So it wasn't really well delivered, let's say, very insensitive, and I had to do a lot of more tests, a lot of more scans with another specialist, because what he said as well when I asked him questions, he said, "Oh, wow, I can't tell you anymore. You need to go to a specialist." So I went to a specialist, and 3 months after that diagnosis, that specialist said, "Oh, good news." Again, good news. It's not a brain tumor. You can forget about that. And I was like, well, I'm not going to forget about what I went through emotionally as well in the past 3 months. And now in hindsight, I can say, of course, there was a lot of learning in there. That everything happens for a reason, and usually there's something positive that you can take out of even a negative situation, even if it's years after it happened. For me, that was reprioritize life. I was working really 24/7 almost. I was close to a burnout. I didn't spend much time with family and loved ones, and I didn't take care of myself in a healthy way with breaks or not working. So that was a bit of a wake-up call for me to reprioritize a lot of things in my life and start pursuing the search for happiness and what that actually means.
That's just very both interesting and touching story. Of course, like, oh, forget about, it's not that easy. And it's what you said, it is a reason you had that. Also, the universe, God, whatever you call, sent us these signs to look at our life in a different way. So that was your sign. Everybody has their own sign. I believe that. So how did you take it to the next level with that sign? How did you look at your life? What did you change? And if you can start talking about what is the happiness formula you created?
Yes. Okay, so basically I started looking at, okay, what am I doing in life, and what do I really want to do in my life more of, and what do I want to do less? I started simple implementations of lunchtime, not in front of the screen, but eating without the screen and taking some walks after work. I stopped working on a Sunday. I stopped working then on evenings. I stopped working on a Saturday. So I basically got into a healthier working routine and creating a work-life balance around for my own work life. Because, when you're an entrepreneur, when you have your own business, it's really difficult to separate these things out. And I think we should have business life and personal life, and we should separate those. This way our mind can rest. And I did a lot of research into happiness. I became a certified happiness facilitator. I read all kind of books about happiness, because obviously there's lots out there. There's a lot of frameworks out there as well. And I try to understand what that means and what does it actually mean for me to be happy. What is that for me? So, and over about, let's say, 4 years or so, I did that research, and then I started writing that book, because I thought, well, I know there's a lot of books out there about happiness, but why not share my take on that? And that's how I came up with that. And I'm a big fan of using acronyms in my life. So what I did, I created the happiness formula, and using an acronym that people can follow that might help them to discover their happiness for themselves. And basically, I use the acronym SMILE, because I think it's very appropriate if we're talking about happiness. And it also is an easy thing to remember, I guess. So it stands for S, start your journey. We have the M for make sure you're ready. The I is implement happiness into your brain. And the L, learn about the models. And the E is for engage with tools. So just to give you a quick overview of what that acronym stands for, and then obviously feel free to ask me some questions and we can dive more into each one of these points.
I love acronyms, first of all. That's why I have my signature talk called the Code of Authentic Branding, when I use the authentic in each word. I love it. And I think it's just easy to remember and explain it to the people. And smile is just a great fit for happiness. Let's talk about each letter, like in few sentences. Like, how did you come up with them?
Yeah.
Like, start with S. Like, how did you find what S stands for? And if you have a story around it, I would be, and my audience would be happy to listen.
Yes. So I really take quite systematic approaches when I come up with acronyms and formulas and stuff, because I've written other books and created other formulas with acronyms around that for starting a business, marketing, and so on. So what I did, I was thinking about the the words that fit. So like you said, smile is a great fit for that kind of topic. And then I basically just think about what do I want to encompass in that, and how can I break that down into steps. And then basically I just try to find words that fit with the letter, if you want. So for one thing, I find a word that fits, then I think about the content that I wanted to have, and then in what kind of order it goes, and then I see how that fits in there. So it's basically start your journey. It's all about understanding happiness. What is it, and why does it matter? What is it for you? Exploring your personal values, strengths, purpose, this kind of stuff. We also talk a bit about mindfulness. If we look at the M, for example, so make sure you're ready, because sometimes we can be quite self-manipulative. So we think we want happiness, but we manipulate ourselves to never reach a happy level, let's say, or we suffer because we create something for whatever reasons, values, things that happened in our life, maybe trauma that happened, that we manipulate ourselves. So in there, we talk a bit more about neuro-linguistic programming techniques, and how to cultivate a more positive mindset, how to overcome obstacles, overcoming fear, doubts, and negative self-talk, because we do that a lot, I think, even without realizing. So it's also being conscious about that. It's about also setting goals, thinking about what you want to achieve with this happiness. Yeah? And again, we can say, yeah, I want to be happy. Okay, for what? What do you want to achieve with that? And how can you achieve like a happy state of mind for your mind and body? So we have the I, then implement happiness into your brain. Again, that is also about neurolinguistic programming, but also we look at the science behind happiness, scientific research, what makes people happy, what doesn't make people happy, the biology of happiness. So we look at what happens in the body, the so-called happiness hormones as well. What does it mean? We talk about building habits. So everything when you can, let's say, reprogram your mind to be happy, we look at in that chapter. Where are we? Smile. So at the L, and that's about learning the models. And like I said at the beginning, there's already a lot of models out there. There's a lot of framework out there. In the end, they all boil down to similar things, also to similar things that I'm saying. It's nothing new. It's just my take on it and maybe putting it into a different package. And that's basically what we do in that chapter. We look at other models that already exist, and I explain them a bit. And last but not least, the E, which is engage with tools. And that's where we look into, okay, what kind of tools can you actually use? That might be digital, that might be non-digital. Something like gratitude journals, maybe some meditation apps, affirmations, visualizations, and things like that. So that's, let's say, in short, a quick overview of what this is about.
I love it, especially the last one, definitely the not least one, because everybody has their own tools to find their own happiness. What works for you not necessarily works for me. And there are so many people out there teaching that this is the way. No, it's not the way. Everybody has their own way of finding joy or finding their own inspiration. So it's great that you nailed it with, in general, meaning, not specifically you need to do this way. So it's amazing, and I hope our audience can make the most out of it. And you mentioned this is also in your book. So your book is available on, where can we find it?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. So if you find my name in the happiness formula, or you just go, for example, to creativestartupacademy.com/book, there you can find that, and you can find the happiness formula. Because, like I said, if you type in happiness formula, there might be different things coming up. If you want that specific one, it's best to go to that page or search it with my name.
Awesome. I will include the links under our show, so it will be easier for people to find. And let's talk about your work, how you work with people. Can you explain more?
Yes, of course. So in general, so this is my Creative Startup Academy. I work more with individuals and entrepreneurs, and with Let's Talk, I work with teams, let's say, but also one-to-one with leaders, senior leaders in organizations. And I think everything, and we talked about that before in another conversation, everything in life, all the problems, all the challenges, but also all the solutions, they come down to communication. So the way we communicate with people, the way we understand others, and the way we can convey information to others so they understand us, is really helping a lot with how we work and how we are seen and what we want to achieve actually in life. So what I do is I'm working with, like I said, either entrepreneurs on a one-to-one basis, or with organizations where I run trainings for the teams, mainly for senior leaders. And then that can move into also one-to-one coaching for them, because I'm also a certified coach. I'm also certified in DISC profiling. I don't know if anyone knows what that is, but it's basically one of the profiling tools that you can use to understand yourself and your team better. It's not about putting one in a drawer and say, this is you. It's just to understand better, oh yeah, I have the tendencies maybe to do that, and I can dial up and down certain competencies and change my behavior and how I communicate to achieve better results. That's like a slight overview, let's say.
Awesome. And how people can reach out to you if they want to work with you?
I think the best way would be on LinkedIn. So if you can include the link in the show notes, that would be great. So, but if not, you go to linkedin.com/in/Christine the coach, and you can find me, because that's where I'm most active, and there you can find also all the other links on things. Otherwise, there's also obviously my websites, Let's Talk.training or creativestartupacademy.com, which also links back to my LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thank you. And what would you share to our audience, to like your last sentence, the legacy you want to leave with?
Don't wait for something to happen before you look after yourself and your loved ones more than you might do already. So don't have this wake up call and then think, oh, I need to change my life. I reprioritize life. I'm going to find this joy and happiness now that this happens. You do not have to wait for that. You can do that anytime you want, and you can start today. And I would encourage you to do so.
Yes. Thank you. This is such a great message. Please put yourself as a priority, the first thing on your to-do list, and care about yourself. Don't wait something to happen to say, oh my gosh, I need to do this. So thank you so much, Christine, for being here. I enjoyed a lot our conversation. I hope our audience did too. Check out Christine's links that are below the show, and make sure you connect, check out her work. Thank you so much for everyone who tuned in today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and now you can apply it to your life. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the Coffee O'Clock podcast on Apple and leave us a review. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you feel like someone needs to listen to this episode, share it on your social media or text the link to that person to make an impact in their life. Be sure to tune in every Monday for new episodes. You can also watch the episodes and find more inspiration on my Instagram, which is at JOYYBURCU. Until next time, make sure to spend some time with you and stay with joy.